before July 1st, 2012, suicide was just something that I heard about on TV, or something that I read about, or just something that happened out there. I never in my life ever imagined anybody I ever knew killing themselves. Well, I don't know, I guess no one really does, but I just never imagined being touched by it until, like I said, the 1st of July this month. One of my good friends from high school committed suicide. Even just saying those words feels like a dream. It feels like I can't even believe it's real. I cannot believe that a person that I knew, a person that I have memories with, was that low and took their own life. And what's weird is this death has affected me more than any death in my life has affected me. And I've lost like special people to me. But I think this one hurts worse because of the thought of what if I could have helped? You know what I mean? Like, something that keeps eating me up is the morning of July 1st. I was awake. I hadn't been asleep because I have insomnia. And I can't talk like this. I was awake when he posted his suicide letter on his Facebook. He posted it as a note and titled it the name of his girlfriend. So I just didn't click it. I just thought that's like a poem to his girlfriend or something. I didn't click it. And 4 hours after he posted it, he ended up killing himself. And I keep thinking, if I would have clicked that and just read it, what if I would have had time to message him and talk him out of it? What if, you know what I mean? Like, I just keep getting ate up by the what if. I have never been more broken and more just, I don't even know the word for somebody in my life. Like, he was such a good person. He honestly, he was such a good person. And I just wanted to make this video because I want people out there to know that no matter what you're going through, no matter how bad it hurts, no matter how lost you feel, no matter how empty, I don't even know how to describe it. No matter how bad life is right now, you have no idea how irreplaceable you are. You were put in this world for a purpose. And I feel like so many people get it in their head that they're nothing, that they're worthless, and that life isn't worth living. They might as well just give it up. And that's so, it's a lie. It's a lie from the pit of hell. You were meant to live. This boy that I know that committed suicide, he and I were not best friends. I mean, we talked, he came to my school for a short amount of time my freshman year. And we still kept in contact online, like on Facebook and MySpace and stuff, but not a lot after he moved. But we had enough time to get to know each other. We had enough time to have memories and really like personal conversations. And I don't know. I don't know how to describe it, but me and him were not best friends. We were just good acquaintances. You know what I mean? Like, we liked each other, but we wouldn't talk on the phone every night. You know what I mean? And yet, it still hurts me worse than any death in my life has ever hurt me. And so, I want to point it out that if you were to kill yourself, it would matter to so many more people than what you imagine. It would completely gut so many people that you probably don't even realize you're alive. I bet he probably wouldn't think that I would be hurting this bad. I bet if he were to see a video of how I reacted when I found out that he killed himself, he probably wouldn't have killed himself. Because I crumbled. I held my heart and I said, "Are you kidding me?" And I busted out crying. I just can't believe it. Life is so fragile and it's such a privilege. And I know that it can suck. I, of all people, know that it can suck on so many levels. But you can't give up. You can't. You have to press through it. You have to have a vision of where you want to be and not focus on what's going on around you. You have to keep your mind on the vision that you want for your future. And you have to tell yourself, no matter how bad it gets, no matter who says what about me, no matter what happens to me, I will make it through and I will come out of this a better person. You know, I feel like I'm living proof of that it's possible for life to turn around. You know, growing up during grade school, I was the biggest nerd you could ever imagine. I was made fun of. I mean, and I don't think that's funny, but I just laugh because it's amazing how God turned it around for me. I was so overweight. I was picked on horribly. I mean, I just can't even describe it. And finally come up to the 7th grade where I'm from. The junior high and the high school is in the same building because it's a really small town. I got picked on so bad by the high school boys that one night when I came home from school, I decided that I didn't need to live anymore. I decided, I'm nothing. I'm a big joke. I don't know why I was born. I mean, I don't need to live. And my dad used to work at a Kellogg's factory. And there was a knife in there in the bathroom laying on the shelf that he had told me a long time ago. He said, "Don't ever open that knife. It could saw through a human bone if you wanted it to." He said, "It's so sharp, don't even open it." He's like, "I only use that for work when we have to cut like really hard things to cut." I don't know. And I remember looking at that knife and thinking, I'm just going to rip my veins out of my wrists and I'm going to end it. I mean, I don't need to live. I can't take this pain anymore. I can't take being an outcast. I can't take this feeling. And I mean, that whole night, I sat up that whole night crying and looking in the mirror, bloodshot eyes, and thinking, why did you make me, God? Like, why am I alive? Why did you choose me to go through this? Like, I was really asking that. Until it was like he spoke to my heart. And I know it was him because it was just the presence of God. He said, if you wait it out, things will change. And one day you will have the ability to inspire anybody you come in contact with. I didn't really believe it, but it was enough to make me go to bed. I knew that it had to be God tell me that because it was so opposite of what I was feeling. I was not going to think that for myself because I was determined that I didn't need to live. And so like I said, I went to bed. And he was right. It did take time. Things did change though. I went from being picked on. In 7th grade I wore all black because I thought black was the color that people's eyes would look over. I thought if I wore color it would draw attention to me. But that's not true. In a school of people that wear, color every day, if you're dressed in black from head to toe, you're going to be assumed as gothic. So here I was being called fat gothic bitch, and people throwing water on me and saying, "There's you some holy water," and all this stuff. When I was really a Christian, that it was just a really hard time. I went from being that to winning homecoming, my 10th grade year. to walking down the hallway and being hugged and, you know, recognized and talked to. And, you know, in class when I would read something that I wrote, or it didn't even have to be something that I wrote, I could just share an opinion and people would clap. It was like out of a movie. It was like, wow, God, look at what you have done. He really turned everything around. And I remember thinking, I've got it all figured out. I remember thinking, you're yourself, you don't hold back for anything, and people will like you. I thought I had life figured out at 15. Until a month after I won homecoming, November 15th, 2008, I fell and I broke my spine. I fell coming down the back, out of the back door of my papa's house. There was a rock wall with a set of steps up against it. I slammed down on that rock wall and I bounced down the steps. I had one bulge disc in my neck, 3 bulge discs between my shoulder blades, 3 fractures at my arch, 3 compressed discs below my arch, and I compressed both sets of ribs and broke a couple of them, all from a fall. But see, the thing here is no one believed that I broke my spine because I got up and I walked home. No one heard me scream, and it was raining on me, and I had to get home. I mean, it was either, what am I going to do, lay here in rocks and dirt in the rain? So I prayed, and I mean, it was the most intense pain you could ever imagine. I mean, it was so intense that I bit the steps because I was just like a rabid dog. Like I just, I couldn't take it, you know what I mean? And I think back to that, and I can't believe that I got up and I walked home. With all that done to my back, it had to be God. It had to be God to lead me home. Because, I mean, that's not normal. I had to walk home totally bent over, but, I mean, at least I could walk, you know? So it took a while for people to believe that I was really injured. My mom and dad just thought, oh, she's pulled a muscle or something like that. They didn't. Who thinks, you know, you fall down steps and you do all that damage? No one assumes that. I didn't even assume it. So I didn't go to the hospital. It wasn't until I fell in November. I didn't get an MRI until January. I found out that I done all that to my back, and even then though, doctors acted like it wasn't no big deal.